Welcome to the NBA.com. This is Jonas report is for the 28th of March. And yesterday we did pretty much nothing and finished exactly again right at that 4,009-ish range, which we actually closed at 4,007. Still hovering, we're a little bit over it now at 14. No change in the MBI readings. That magenta still leads, so that's enough to keep things reasonable. MBI white is no longer predominant over it. And in this case, though, cyan has ticked up above. So just a lot of muck and confusion in those conflicting setups in the sense that it's still bullish, but not really doing anything. And I think that just ties in with what we've been talking about, where the NASDAQ has been the leader in this case. And so I think that seeing where that is really becomes more relevant. And in this case, you do have a magenta lower. Um, they'll kind of start moving off, but you get softening, but you don't have any assistance from MBI white. So how critical is that? Eh, DOC with the DOC spread, a little bit more poignant, but you got falling orange. So also half and half. At the end of the day, I think that you're just going to get more range bound setups with a slightly bias to the bullish side of things, but it doesn't appear to be anything significant. I think there's just too much uncertainty about where things are going with certain aspects. With that reduced volatility, you can see immediately yield spike back up because not everybody's flocking into treasuries immediately. So it's still way overdone. It's literally got to go into the sub 100 range. I think the realization that the Fed is probably not going to cut rates and still going to continue to make sure that it has wiped out its inflation and or if it can maybe bump unemployment so that it doesn't look like things are wage pressure wise, because that can actually be a significant move of inflationary tactics. And unfortunately, you get oil back above 70. That you know starts to put pressure if it continues to rise. Gold's not going to do much of anything until this is sort of resolved one way or another. The euro keeps spiking. 108 level. That's way out of reach for what's going on in the eurozone. But the expectation is that the U.S. is going to get soft, and so euros will be more exciting. And that really I think is a bit optimistic at this particular stage. Bitcoin also just filling back in some of the positive extremes. I think it's just as part of the softness that we've got at this particular moment until things become a little bit more clear. And it's unusual because usually the market is forecasting where things are going and how they'll be. But I think the two camps are pretty well equally divided. The one being so optimistic that the Fed is just going to save the day for everything, the other being like, well, there are economic realities that still come into play as far as earnings and things like that go, and it's not going to be as rosy as some would hope. So if those one of two are wrong, either better earnings or uh, the Fed does do something, then we get much more clarity and can begin to make a significant move. I think though with the inflation setup and where things are, I don't know downside unless a major recession actually begins. The upside still has, I think, the more strong propensity at this stage. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, if I go to the other charts, I'm still having LTS difficulties as usual. Anyway, I will update you on the Skype chat. Trade well. Talk to you later.